Hey Facebook family, it's Char, and wanted to share a conversation I had with a very dear friend last week, and made me think of some notes that I wanted to share with you guys. Do you guys realize that when we're going throughout our day or going throughout life, that there's actually 3 versions of you out there in the world? And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So it's me, myself, and I. The me self is what you know that you are. It's who you are internally. It's the conversations that you have with yourself. It is, if your mindset is calling yourself dumb or stupid or bad things, then that's what you're kind of thinking that you are, and you're putting that out in the world. Or if you're having really good positive conversations with yourself, that's what you're putting out there in the world. Now, the second part of your identity that you're relating to is what you think, what other people see of you. So when they're looking at you, what do people think of you? Now, remember this, what other people think of you when they're looking at you has a lot to do with things that you have no impact on. It has a lot to do with their perspective. It has a lot to do with things that have happened to them before your time, things that you have no idea at all when they're looking at you. And a great way to realize this is if we were all in a room together and I said the word dog, the picture that comes into each of our minds completely different, and that's based on perspective. So, when you're out there in the world, what you think you are and then what other people see you being is 2 complete things. And then lastly, the third part of who you think you are is what you think other people see or think you are when they're seeing you. So do you get that? You've got who you know you are, what other people are seeing, and then what you think other people think that you are. And now that's where you create a lot of stress, and if you're trying to be something you're not, that creates a lot more work for you than what it would be just being your genuine true self. And so when you are getting ready in the morning and you're finding that your conversations with yourself may not be going in a good way, or if you're finding that you're saying, I'm going to have a bad day today, you're going to go out the door and kind of give that to the world, and other people are going to see that. And then in turn, you're attracting what their response is going to be to you. And that feeds into almost a catch-22, if you will, because if you're not getting a good response, then you're thinking maybe somebody's a little short with you or something, and you'll jump to conclusions on what they're thinking because of your internal dialogue. And so, what you really need to do is go back and return to that inner piece of conversation you have with yourself. And if you see there's a misalignment between who you are yourself and what you have been told others think you are, that walk, you need to get that walk closer and closer together. You need to get it more in alignment, because as you get it more in alignment, what you're going to find is that there's less and less stress, because you're not trying to be something you're not. And you're not running around trying to be everything to all people, because that's just not possible. When you are wanting some feedback from other people, this is not feedback that you go and seek from the masses, because of that one element that comes into place, which is perspective. Everybody's perspective is different, and the perspectives that you should really take into consideration are the people who's earned the right to be in your life and who have immense value in your life and have proven themselves and really have your best interest ahead of their own. Now, these people, you don't have a list of them. It's not going to be 50. We're talking, if I gave you a 1-by-1 sheet of paper, you could put all of their names on one side of it. So there's not many people who you're going to go to. But if you're really trying to work on getting who you really are in alignment with what the world thinks you are, you go down and you go and you have spend time with those people that you hold closest, that really know you, and they're going to be able to help you bring who you want to be or who you are more into alignment with what the world sees. And so if you're finding that you're going through a day and you are just incredibly stressed because you have let a lot of people down, or maybe you're just trying to be everything to everybody, you have to stop doing that. It's not possible. All you can do is just go back to that little voice that you hear inside of you, that is the most truest form of who you are, and try to get more in alignment with what the world thinks you are. And I promise you, as you work on that, it's not easy work, and this is not something that happens overnight. This is something that you're going to keep coming back at and keep coming back at and keep coming back at. It's not something, it's kind of like sweeping the kitchen floor. You don't ever stop. One other note I wanted to share with you is what other people think of you is actually a reflection of themselves and what they think of themselves. And that's very important to remember. You know, if we followed Mother Teresa around all day, who was immensely wonderful, and you wanted to find fault, if your intention going into following her was to find faults throughout a day, you will find that. And so you have to remember, that's why that middle element there of what other people think of you really should not play in very much on who you are, where you're going, because there's so many perspectives that come into place. It shouldn't be very valuable. So listen, you guys, I hope sharing that. I'd love to hear some of your stories. If you've gotten anything from today's message, please comment below. I so much appreciate it. It feeds me knowing that I'm feeding you, because you guys know what? I know that we're all powerful, and through that powerfulness, we're all connected. Now go love somebody today, okay? Bye-bye.